verses 21 through 35. So Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials of Moab. God's anger was kindled because he was going. And the angel of the Lord took his stand in the road as his adversary. Now he was riding on the donkey, and his two servants were with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. So the donkey turned off the road and went into the field. And Balaam struck the donkey to turn it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards, with a wall on either side. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it scraped against the wall, and scraped Balaam's foot against the wall, so he struck the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place, where there was no way to turn either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and the donkey said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times?" Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have made a fool of me. I wish I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." But the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey, that you have ridden all your life to this day? Have I been in the habit of treating you this way?" And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road, with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed down, falling on his face. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times?" "I have come out as an adversary, because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let it live." Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now therefore, if it is displeasing to you, I will return home." The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you to speak." So Balaam went on with the officials of Balak. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
I feel like we could all use some Lutheran calisthenics, so please stand for the reading of the gospel. Try a little bit. Hold up here. Our gospel this morning comes to us from the 11th chapter of the book of Matthew, starting with the 27th verse. "All these things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all that are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The gospel of our Lord.
Thanks be to God.
O Christ. You may be seated. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps on the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Genesis 1:25. This morning we are going to take a short break from Revelations, kind of, to talk about something a little bit more relatable. Sort of. Well, it's mostly relatable. Take a moment and close your eyes. I want you to think of your favorite Bible story. Was it Noah and his ark? Jonah and his hesitancy to follow God? Maybe Daniel standing up for his beliefs? Angels speaking to the shepherds? I would venture to guess that most of the Bible stories that we can recall right off the top of our head have at least one animal in them. Which is not hard, considering there are over 120 animal species named in the Bible, along with some awesome imagery of animals we can't even begin to fathom, like the behemoth or the leviathan. Can you tell I've been spending my summer in the book of Job? Coming soon to a Wednesday night Bible study this fall. Animals have always been companions to humans, or maybe humans have always been as the lamb, evil as a serpent, doves as peace, and the list goes on. Animals have been crucial to how humans interact with the world. Air travel would not be possible if someone had not stood in a field and watched the birds of the air. Whales are the inspiration for submarine design. And in our current world, technology is being developed to create bug bots to help cross-pollinate crops, aid in search and rescue, and gather storm data from the eye of the event. Humans have constantly taken inspiration from the animals. And this morning, we celebrate those animals in our own midst that bring us joy, companionship, and in my house at least, an endless source of education and entertainment. Big or small, scaled or furry, it is estimated that about 67% of U.S. households have at least one pet. They have been shown to provide genuine health benefits to our human lives. They can reduce stress as our brain releases dopamine and endorphins as we pet them, and blood pressure can be lowered as we watch them move around in aquariums. They can combat social anxiety with their outgoing, welcoming personalities as they greet others while walking in public, taking the stress of that interaction away from the human. Pets can provide temporary relief to loneliness and depression symptoms by creating a sense of purpose as we care for their needs. One of God's first tasks to humans was to care for his creation. And sometimes that is exactly what we as humans need to care for our own well-being. Nothing is more satisfying for me at the end of a long day than coming home to my two dogs. My favorite sisters have all had 4 legs. Bible study prep is carefully scrutinized by my Nana's cats on Sunday afternoons. My life has always included pets, whether mine or my family's. From guinea pigs to hamsters, fish to birds. When looking for my first home, I carefully chose a house where I could have 2 dogs of my own. I failed my first foster 15 years ago and spent 14 years thanking God every day for Patrick. 10 years ago, my pillow got a black and white one, and Marco still greets me every morning with a kiss. And 5 months ago, we welcomed home Russo, a rescued street dog who has taught us so much about patience and acceptance. Our home is filled with chaos, and oh, so much love. And that is why I am excited that it's Bring Your Pets to Church Sunday. The church has celebrated and blessed animals as part of the Feast of St. Francis since 1228, only 2 years after St. Francis's death. Of nature, and especially animals. He would give sermons to the birds in the garden and regarded all of God's creation as his brothers and sisters. He remains one of the most popular saints across all Christian traditions. Did you know there is even an order of Lutheran Franciscans? Established in 2011, it became the first official ELCA Lutheran religious order in 2023. How incredible is it that the church has continued to keep the tradition of blessing animals alive for almost 800 years. That is incredible. Truly remarkable. Okay, I've stalled long enough. What is going on with that donkey? Talk about being dropped into the middle of a story. Who is Balaam? Where is he going? Why is God mad at him? And his donkey talks? Move over, DreamWorks. Turns out talking donkeys have been around a lot longer than Shrek. So much to unpack. Let's start this morning with a little background to Balaam himself. I would venture to guess most of you have never even heard this story, even though it includes a talking donkey, which somehow seems perfect for children's church. Balaam was a prophet and a seer known throughout northern Syria for his ability to communicate with many different deities. Balaam was not loyal to any one god, but used his abilities to gain favor and wealth from the different kings and leaders in the region. He was hired by King Balak of Moab to curse the Israelites so they would flee from the region and not overtake their kingdom. Balaam started out as an unwitting character in Israel's story. Now, there are also a few things we need to know about the Israelites. They have spent the last 40 years wandering the desert after being freed from Egypt. Once they were free of Pharaoh and the bonds of slavery, by God's mighty hand, they almost immediately lost trust in that same God. And God punished them by making them wait before they could enter the promised land. While studying Revelations, we've talked about the importance of numbers, and that's still true here. 40 years represents an entire generation, and that means that the majority of those who began their journey from Egypt have died. In fact, only 2 men from that original generation were allowed to enter the land of Canaan. Now, these same Israelites have defeated 2 kingdoms who stood in their way to the promised land, and unfortunately for the Moabites, that meant they're about to get a whole lot new neighbors. 600,001, 730 new neighbors to be exact. God's love censuses in the Old Testament. So Balaam is asked to come to the service of the king. If he will only curse the Israelites and drive them from Moab, great riches await the seer. Balaam's reputation for being a conduit for the different gods is well known. He first refused King Balak after God came to him in a vision and told him not to go with the king's men. The second visit from the king's officials was definitely not an invitation. God again visited Balaam and told him to go, but to only do what God told him to do. And we will learn later, actually summed up in Revelations for a full circle moment there, that although Balaam initially followed God's command and blessed Israel instead of cursing them, his heart was not true to God's intentions. In Revelation 2:14 we hear, "But I have a few things against you. You have some who hold the teachings of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the people of Israel, so that they would eat food sacrificed to idols and practice fornication." God sensed this betrayal while Balaam was starting his journey. This angered God, and he sent an angel to strike Balaam down. Because of Balaam's ultimate desires for riches, though, he couldn't see the angel in front of him. But his donkey could. As Mary Kiner puts it, ironically, Balaam the seer is blind to God's messenger. He's obstinately continuing on, powering through despite the odd reactions of his reliable donkey. In fact, he blames the donkey for acting weird and starts hitting her. Yes, we do actually know that the donkey was a female. To get her to obey him. Balaam ignores the signs of danger. Donkeys might be thought of as stubborn, but Balaam proves that he is even more stubborn by refusing to see what's right in front of him. It isn't until the donkey is given the power of speech that Balaam even considers that something could possibly be wrong. She asks him, "Am I not your donkey, which you have ridden all the days of your life to this day? Have I been in the habit of treating you this way?" You can almost hear the childish obstinacy in his response. No. His eyes are open to see the angel. Wow. And the danger this angel possesses in front of him for daring to go against God. He repents and offers to turn around, but the angel repeats God's warning. "Only speak what I tell you to speak." And while we know that things didn't exactly go according to plan after the donkey initially blesses Israel, the donkey is still the hero of this story. The donkey literally saves Balaam. Several times, in fact. She has been his loyal companion his entire life. She is trying to keep him from danger. This shows the bond the donkey felt to Balaam. Much the same way our pets show loyalty to us. It is remarkable what animals can be trained to do to assist us when our abilities are lacking. Performing search and rescue in all terrains and climates, finding explosives, turning on lights, opening doors, even detecting low blood sugar levels, and finding cancer. God's creation is truly remarkable. No wonder St. Francis had such respect for animals. God tasks us with caring for his creation, but in many ways they are the ones caring for us. Long before modern machines, we relied on horses, oxen, and cattle to perform physical labor and transport items too difficult for human strength. Hides and wool provided clothing and blankets to keep us warm before synthetic fibers were created. Tissues and enzymes have been used in advanced medicine for insulin and heart valves. And there are countless stories of animals literally saving our lives. This past Memorial Day, a former classmate and I and her husband were awoken by their cat to discover their house was engulfed in flames. The house is a total loss. Every one of their possessions became unsalvageable. If not by the actual fire, they were destroyed by the water used to keep the surrounding woods from starting a fire. The fire department said if the cat had not woken them up, neither of them would be here today to rebuild. Flint is definitely the hero of their story. And that is the nature God has given to animals, to work alongside us to make both our lives better. In our gospel, Jesus addresses the crowds who have been exhausted by the harshness of life. Come to me, all who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. The imagery is that of beasts working in the fields. He is asking us to literally take up his yoke, to share in his work, is to find rest in our very souls. Now, if you have not worked with beasts of the field, and don't be confused or sad, I had to look all of this up too, because I have no idea what they're talking about. When the farmer is yoking a young animal for the first time, it is often paired with a stronger and usually older animal. The stronger one can bear the brunt of the load, making it easier for the younger animal to learn and to endure. This is the example Jesus is calling us to. Imagine sharing life's burdens and tribulations, being yoked to the Son of God. Ideal, for sure, but not always easy. It's hard handing over our troubles. We cling to them almost as a badge of honor. We can pray for it. We can sing about it. We can remind ourselves every day that there is a God begging us to let go and know true peace. But sometimes it's just hard to follow through. I can't visualize it most days. I'm not even sure where to begin. But I can pet my dog. And on some days, on Earth at least, that feels pretty close to finding the kind of comfort my